Assalamu alaikum and good day, dear students. If you don't know me yet, my name is Teacher Balkis and I will be the one conducting this lesson, which is subtopic 10 entitled Citations, Quotations, and Paraphrasing. I bet you don't know what these terms are, or have you heard about it before? So, I will give a lecture regarding this topic. If you are ready, say go go! Before we move on to the harder part of this topic, let me explain to you the definitions for citations, quotations, and paraphrasing. So, citation is using external sources in your work while giving credit to the original author, person, or the site. For example, if you want to write a story about medical and sometimes you don't really know about the ins and out of the medical field, so you start looking on Google, right? I'm sure you students have done that much, right? So whenever you read on the internet or you read in the books and you found the idea that you want to put into your medical essay, you have to give credit. You have to put the name, who said this, when did they said that, or where did they say that. So you have to note the readers of the original source that you are using, and that is what we call citation. Next, quotation. Quotation is taking words by words of the original author or the original source that you use. For example, if a person said something like, the world is getting sick day by day, and you want to use that sentence into your essay, so you take it word by word. You don't change the structure of the sentence. You take it and put it in your essay as it is. For example, you can say like this: this person said that the world is getting sick day by day. But in order to do that, you have to put the quotation mark. That is why it is called quotation. And the last term for this topic is paraphrasing. So, paraphrasing means you jumble up words from the original author, or you use your own words. Let's use the previous example. The world is getting sick day by day, and you wanted to put the idea into your writing, but you don't want to take it word by word. You don't want to use quotation. So you have to use your own words and re-explain the sentence. And that is what we call paraphrasing. So do you understood for the overall concept for these three terms? If you do understood, then let's go to the next slide. So, forms of citations, APA format. So why did I pick APA format? This is because it is widely used in many Malaysian schools or educational institutional. So that is why I picked APA format. However, there are a lot more types of citations: APA, MLA. But for this topic, I will only talk about the APA format. So, there are many forms of citations. The first one is in-text citation. In-text citation meaning that you put citations or you put your quote or paraphrase or summarize, you put these three in your essay. However, you put the citation at the early of the sentence. As an example here, you can see Rena 2018 said that the economy is blooming. So let's go through this one by one. In text citation, it's used when we include them in writings, and it contains the author and the year of publication. So these two are very important when we want to use in-text citation. Sometimes if you have the page number, you can put it inside the citation also. Only the year is in parentheses. This is what we call parentheses, right? Parentheses. And out of the two, the author and the year of publication, only the year of the publication is inside the parentheses. Like you can see at the example here, Rena 2018. You can see that the 2018 is inside the parentheses. Meanwhile, Rena is not in the parentheses. So whenever you want to use citations, remember to always use varying verbs like reports, claims, suggests, and insists. Even though the word according to is normal and many people do that, we don't want to keep repeating ourselves, right? We don't want to have redundant words or use the same words for all of the paragraphs. The essay would be boring. So instead of saying according to Rena 2018, change. You can put Rena 2018 claims that. So that is how you vary your sentences instead of just using the old boring according to. The second form of citation is in-text citation. Just now in text, now it's in-text. So just imagine it like this. In at the early, end at the end. It's just the same thing. In-text and in-text, both you use this type of citation when you want to use it inside the essay. Okay? So let's go through this again for in-text citation. We use this when we include sources and writings, just the same as in text, contains the author and the year of publication, and both written in parentheses. Remember, for in text, only the year of publication is in parentheses. However, for in-text citation, both needs to be written in parentheses. Let's see at the example here. The economy is blooming, and you put full stop because it's at the end of the sentence, right? And then you put the in-text citation, Rena 2018. Remember to put comma between the name of the author and the year of publication. So now that we've covered only two types of citations, in-text, and the earlier one is in-text. These ones are the one that you use inside writing, inside your essay. Remember that, okay? Note that down. And now this is the last form of citation. So citations has three overall form: in-text, in-text, and full citation. So when in-text and in-text needs to be used inside your essay, but full citation is when you use after you end your essay, meaning to say after you have finished your essay and you have to put a reference list, and that is where you put your full citation. So let's go through this one by one. Full citation is used in the reference list. It must tally with in-text and end-text citations. This means that whenever you put a citation, for example, you put the citation inside your essay, you have to put that same citation into your reference list also. It must be the same. For example, we're using the previous example of RENA 2018, right? And then after you have used that source from RENA, you have to put the full citation of RENA inside the reference list too. That's why in-text and end-text must tally with the full citations at the reference list. So this is the format for full citation for APA only. Okay, note that, because for different types of citations, they have different formats. For example, the MLA has a different type of format. But now, as we're looking only to APA format, so this is the format. You first need to start off with the author's surname. So surname is a family name. For example, George Bush. So Bush is a surname. It's a last name. Most people familiar with the term last name. Okay? Author's surname. And that's the same with a Malaysian people name. For example, Laili Kamarudin, right? So Kamarudin is the surname. So even though the author is Laili, but at the citation we have to put the father's name. Okay, this is for the Malay conventional name. And after you put the author's surname, you have to put a comma and then you put the initial or initials. Initials mean, for example, Laili Kamarudin. You put the Kamarudin and then you put the comma and then you put L. So L is for Laili. So initials mean the first letter of the name that you don't put fully. And then you put a dot, you put a full stop, and then you put the date published, and then full stop, and then title of the article or title of the book or title of the news, and then you put full stop also, and then you continue with the publisher's name. Okay, you put the publisher's name and then full stop, and then you have to key in the words retrieved from and insert link. You put the link. This is for if you take sources from the internet. So for the date published, if say that the article does not put any date, you have to put N.D. It simply means no date. So remember that, okay? N.D. So let's look at the example here. So author's surname, Potter, comma, initial H. You guessed that right. This is Harry Potter. Harry Potter's name. So I'm using it as an example. Okay? So Potter, comma, H, full stop for initials. Also, if they have three names, for example, Justin Drew Bieber. That is Justin Bieber's long name, right? Okay. So Justin Drew Bieber, the name would be like this. Bieber, comma, J dot D. Okay, can you get it? J is for Justin, dot and D. D is for Drew. So Justin Drew Bieber. And that is how you cite a person with 3 names. But if they have multiple author, you just used, for example, Potter.h, Potter, comma, H. You don't put full stop there, you put comma, because you want to list down all the authors, right? And for example, Potter, comma, H, comma, not dot, okay? Not full stop, but comma, because we have multiple authors. We only use this whenever we have multiple authors, when we have more than one author. And for example, if the next author is Hermione Granger, and you put Granger, comma, H. Okay? And let's continue with the example. And then date publish, 3rd November 2018. This one, if they have the date, the month, and the year. But if there's only month and year, that's also okay. If there's only year, that's also okay. If there's no date at all, you can put what? Correct. N dot D, which means no date. You just have to remember it that way, okay? And next, the title, Theory of Magic, and then you put dot. And then the publisher, okay? Milan Books dot. If you don't have the publisher, you can put the name of the website or the name of, mostly the name of the website if you can't find the publisher. Or if it's from books, usually they have, right, the name of the publisher, so it's not that hard to find publisher. But if you don't have the name of the publisher, then just don't put it. And next is retrieved from, and you put the link. And remember to put in between the link, you have to put like this sign. As you can see here, at the insert link, you have the symbol of bigger than and smaller than, right? And then you put that in between the link. And to wrap up for a citation, remember there's 3 types: in-text, end-text, and full citation, which you have to use whenever you want to put other people's idea inside your essay or writings. So for this next slide, when you should use citations, okay? So we now know the many types and the many forms of citation, but when should you use it? So it's when you want to quote other people, or when you want to paraphrase other people's idea, and when you want to summarize other people's idea. So whenever you wanted to do these 3 things, you have to do citation. Okay? So remember, for topic today, it's about citation, quotation, and paraphrasing. So meaning to say that citation, you only use that when you want to quote, when you want to do quotation and paraphrasing or summarizing. But for this topic, I'm not gonna explain about summarizing. That is for other subtopic. For my subtopic and lecture today, it's only about quotation, which is quoting, and paraphrasing. Since quotations is quite easy to do because you're just copying word by word while giving citations, it's not that hard, but I'm still going to show you how you can correctly use quotation. Okay, number 1, use quotation marks. If you don't know what quotation marks is, it's when when you read books and they have this one, right? And people often do this symbol too. So that is what we call quotation mark, okay? So number 2, the rule is to copy word by word. If you want to use the quotation mark, you cannot tweak the sentences differently. You have to it's just the same as copy and pasting, okay? Include citation. Now, this is very important, okay? If you don't put citation, it's not considered as quotation because you don't have the original author. Like, sure, you do have the quotation, but who said that? Who said that piece? It couldn't be you. So who said that? And that is why it's important for you to include the citation. It doesn't matter if you want to put in text or end text citation. But remember to put the full citation and the reference list, okay? And number 4 is use ellipsis if you want to deduct words. Okay, for example, if you're talking about deforestation, so your essay is about deforestation, and you found this idea that you really like and you wanted to put it inside your essay. However, the sentence is very long. The sentence is, for example, they have 4 lines. That is one sentence. And you just want that one part of the idea inside the sentence. And you are allowed to use ellipsis. So ellipsis is basically 3 dots, okay? So after you put the quotation, you include the 3 dots, and then you continue with the sentence that you wanted to use. So just now, your long sentence, the long sentence by the author can be made shorter and simpler for your readers to read your essay. And yeah, that's it. That's so simple for quotation. Since quotations is quite easy to do because you're just copying word by word while giving citations, it's not that hard, but I'm still going to show you how you can correctly use quotation, okay? Number 1, use quotation marks. If you don't know what quotation marks is, it's when when you read books and they have this one, right? And people often do this symbol too. So that is what we call quotation mark, okay? So number 2, the rule is to copy word by word. If you want to use the quotation mark, you cannot tweak the sentences differently. You have to it's just the same as copy and pasting, okay? Include citation. Now, this is very important, okay? If you don't put citation, it's not considered as quotation because you don't have the original author. Like, sure, you do have the quotation, but who said that? Who said that piece? It couldn't be you. So who said that? And that is why it's important for you to include the citation. It doesn't matter if you want to put in text or end text citation. But remember to put the full citation and the reference list, okay? And number 4 is use ellipsis if you want to deduct words. Okay, for example, if you're talking about deforestation, so your essay is about deforestation, and you found this idea that you really like and you wanted to put it inside your essay. However, the sentence is very long. The sentence is, for example, they have 4 lines. That is one sentence. And you just want that one part of the idea inside the sentence. And you are allowed to use ellipsis. So ellipsis is basically 3 dots, okay? So after you put the quotation, you include the 3 dots, and then you continue with the sentence that you wanted to use. So just now, your long sentence, the long sentence by the author can be made shorter and simpler for your readers to read your essay. And yeah, that's it. That's so simple for quotation. Now that I have finished explaining about quotations, let's move on to paraphrasing. So this is quite hard because it needs your brain to think. So, what is paraphrasing? It's restating the original source in your own words. This means if quotation, you just copy and paste what the author said, but for paraphrasing, you have to build your own words, okay? Like you have to understand what the author is trying to say, and then you explain it again inside your essay, how you understand the idea. This means that you cannot take words by word. But to make it easier, there are ways for how you can paraphrase if you can't grasp. For example, no matter how many times you read this sentence, you just can't explain it into your own words. Don't worry, I will teach you how to. So, for paraphrasing, it doesn't have to be brief, like a summary. Like, you don't have to do a summary, you just have to retell, okay? For example, if you're gossiping with your friends, right? Or if there's news, right? Like there's something going on in the school, and you wanted to tell your friends, you wouldn't be talking exactly how the original story is, but you would tell the story in your own voice, in your own words. So that is what we call paraphrasing. And even though it's hard at first, it can be easy because that's what you do in everyday life. Sometimes you go back home and tell your mother or tell your parents stories about what happened at your school. So that is also what we call paraphrasing. And another term is to retell. So as I said before, it's just to retell, but you have to use your own words. Sometimes sources use difficult words that you can't fathom the meaning, and sometimes no matter how many times that you read the lines, the sentence, you still couldn't grasp the idea, and you can't paraphrase, you can't retell. And this is how I will teach you how to paraphrase, okay? The first one is use synonyms. For example, she felt mad. If we were to paraphrase, we can use she felt enraged. So this is one part, number one step. You always have to use synonyms. Like whenever you found a source or a sentence or an idea that you like, if you want to paraphrase, you can always find the synonyms for every sentence first. That will make your paraphrase, that will make it easier for you to paraphrase. And the second step is to jumble up the sentence, meaning to say you can turn the say that the sentence is active, you can turn the sentence to passive, or you can put the end of the sentence into the early part of the sentence. You can mix up the sentences to make sure that it's jumbled up, okay? So to paraphrase, you have to do these two: synonyms, jumbling up, okay? If you only do one of those, that's not considered as paraphrasing, okay? That's just, you're just using the author's word, okay? That's the same as quoting, but we don't want quoting here, we want paraphrasing. So paraphrasing, remember, two of these. Synonyms, jumbling up. If only one of these, you're not doing it right, okay? So let's go for jumbling up because it's quite hard, okay? For synonyms, it's easier to understand, okay? You have to note these steps. And for jumble up, change the sentence structure, as I said just now, from passive to active or active to passive. And what you can do is you can look for numbers that can be reworded, but they will have the same meaning. For example, if the original author said that the success rate is 65, and if you want to paraphrase, you can say the failure rate is 35%. Like, even though the original author does not say about failure, does not mention about the 35%, you can change it in your paraphrase sentence, because that is what we call paraphrase, using your own words, as long as they have the same meaning. Okay? And next is 25 years. Say that the author said 25 years of teaching, and what you can say in your essay is the teacher has worked as a teacher for a quarter of a century. So that just means the same as 25 years. So remember, look for numbers, okay, if you don't know. Let me show you examples for a good paraphrasing sentences. So as you can see, this is the original author, Kelly Brownlet Blackburn, date published in May 2018. She said that be sure to use a sunscreen that is SPF 30 or higher and apply it every 2 hours. Okay? So let's look at the right sentence, the one with the X, meaning it's incorrect. Okay? Even though they put the citation, that's correct. This is an in-text citation. Blackburn 2018 stated that we have to apply sunscreen that is over SPF 30 and put it every 2 hours. So of course the person changed a little bit and they use synonyms such as higher, they changed to over, and use, they changed to apply, and the word apply they changed to put. So but this is just synonyms, they don't jumble up the sentences, which is wrong, and that is why this paraphrasing sentence is considered as incorrect. Okay, even though it is correct for the person to write the in-text citation, it still makes it wrong because the paraphrase needs to have two strategies. What is it? That's correct. Synonym, jumbling up the words. And now let us look at the second sentence. Blackburn 2018, can you guess if this is an in-text or end-text citation? Correct. Whoever answered in-text citation, you are correct. Or if you don't answer me at all, okay. So let's continue. Urges readers to apply sunscreen. So as you can see here, as I said before, for citation, when you want to use citations, you can always use different verbs instead of according to Blackburn 2018. That's so boring. Okay, we have to spice it up a bit. Okay, So what we can do is we use different words, different verbs, I mean. So right here, the person used urges, okay? Urges readers to apply sunscreen once every 2 hours. So can you see? This person put the every 2 hour, which is originally at the end of the original author's word, but this person put it at the middle of the sentence. So once every 2 hours. So they just add the word once. That's okay because that still means the same. It still has the same meaning as the original author's words. And anything that is below SPF 30 is insufficient. Even though the word insufficient is not added to, is not in the original words, but we can still put insufficient because as long as you understand the idea of the original author, you can explain it back into your own words, which is why the second sentence of paraphrasing is correct rather than the one that is wrong. So now that we have learned citations, quotations, and paraphrasing, you will know that citations are needed whenever you wanted to do quotations and paraphrasing. Okay? Remember to always do citations because if you don't put citations, it will be considered as plagiarism. And plagiarism is something that I will explain in my next lecture, which is in the form of podcasts. So make sure you listen to that to know the importance of the three terms: citations, quotations, and paraphrasing. And that wraps the end of the lecture. Now that I've completed lecture 1, this is only lecture 1. I have another lecture waiting for you, but it's more fun than this wordy and lengthy lecture because it's in the form of podcast. So you can listen to it whenever you're free, whenever you can listen to it like you're listening to radio, right? How fun is that? And for this topic, subtopic 10, quotations, citations, and paraphrasing, if you have anything that you don't understand or you wanted to know more about this subtopic, you can always give your questions to me, and you can reach my socials or my email, which I have put the email address and my socials name on my introductory video, so you can check that out too. Okay, and good luck listening to the podcast, and make sure you have a fun learning session at the comfort of your home.